Grand Rise. This right here is a response to Dr. Phil Valentine on the color of green and blue skin and what does that mean for us. I think I seen him do a video on this concept about a year ago. And particularly I wanted to respond to this because I've had some personal experiences with certain understandings that kind of, when I watched the video, it kind of filled in some blocks to what I saw and what I know. Hold on a second. And I believe you're 1,000% correct when you say there are missing sections to the understanding of color. I want to start out by first explaining an experience that I went through, particularly within this experience, my observation. And then I'm going to explain the synchronicity. And then I will explain the connection to your point. Firstly, I've had a personal experience with the meditation on certain occasions where I was able to tap into certain places and leave the physical body where it is and rise to see other things. This time and place was about 15 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. I was able to meditate and visit beings that had, if I was to say skin was metallic, this is what I saw. How it moved in its attachment to the body, as if our skin was just inlaid by some form of precious metal. So instead of having just brown skin, what I noticed were they were silver and copper, but this was a high grade of these metals. This was a very high grade, and they were very beautiful. But I felt as if I knew these individuals. Now, I'm not going to even go into the story of what took place. I just wanted to focus on that particular point of what I noticed in my observation, that these beings, the 5 beings that I encountered, were metallic in some form. And I'll just leave that there. The best explanation, they were metallic. And I'll add brandishing armor and weapons about to go into a fight. Now, particularly, the reason why that observation was important to me, because in normality, or in this dream world that we call normality, when I'm dealing with some form of a metal, whether it's silver, copper, or gold, when oxidation happens and it starts to tarnish, they take on colors as green, super pale white, and blue. This is oxidation. To your point, and we all know what oxidation does. It's not like we haven't had the privilege of watching it take place. But to your point, if I had an understanding that beings before time indefinite, when physical beings were here, and then we say that that color of individuals at one point might have been blue or green, then I would have to say that that was the first level of oxidation. Anytime I'm dealing with any metal, and I've soldered silvers and played with coppers and stuff of that matter, and actually put coppers in some of the worst situations to watch the oxidation take place. And what I saw was the first oxidation level, it was green or blue, depending on what acid from what content in the oxygen would help it break down. After the breakdown would start to take place, it would turn white. Other metals would break down and turn blue or green first, and then they would turn brown, the rust. So that speaks to something. It speaks to something with a form of endearment as far as time and connection, if we're looking at actuality. So actually, if I was to terminalize the circumstance from my experience to what I know, cross-reference to what I study, then I would have to say that the first beings that came here were metallic. Within their first eonic period, they oxidized into a color of blue and green. And to the duration of that time period of existence, through creation, the oxidation changed to brown and other colors of the hue. And you're correct, with the original colors being different spectrums like red, yellow, and so forth and on, blue, green. This is important because they all have oxidation levels. But what's even more important is the efficiency in melanin, the allowance. That's the after effect. That's a conversation that's not particularly attached, but for the most part, it has a definite connection to it because of the fact of colloidal silver and its colloidal silver, colloidal gold, its production with melanin, iridium, platinum, copper, silver, so forth and on. These colloidal aspects are very important within their regeneration of an aspect. And why this is super important as far as an aspect. There was a time when I watched an individual that's labeled as a white man do scientific experiments with colloidal silver and sea salt and recharge his skin tone to where he turned blue. His whole body turned blue. All his skin, his hair and everything were the same. Was blue over a situation, a scientific situation that he did using sea salt and colloidal silver. Now, he ended up passing away. But before he passed away, his hair started turning blue. Now, I'm not saying what he did was accurate to a circumstance as far as how to reignite the color of the original people. But what I saw that it was possible. And if it's possible with lesser material, then that means we're not doing the correct study. Also, if I look at what I use to clean tarnish metals, then what he was doing was almost solidified in the same attribute because of the properties in black seed oil and what salt does. I can see that being a particular. If naturally I took salt and vinegar and added them together on a tarnished material, it would begin to clean it and remove the tarnish. We're talking about physical situations, though, that's a little more in depth. So no one knows what happens, what you do with melanin if you polish it with colloidal silver and sea salt. And if that's the case, what he was doing was important. If you get a chance to watch this, Dr. Phil, I would like to hear a response to what you believe may possibly be, or if this is even a possibility. I believe it's more to the situation as Dr. Phil was speaking on, Dr. Phil Valentine was speaking on. And I believe we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. Love and light, respect. I am NAGA.